Hello, everybody. Geezy Truth News is here. It is February 10, 2017. Well, welcome everybody. You know, we got a lot of things to say, and it's time to, we got a lot of updates and a lot of information to exchange and see what's all it is about. Let me tell you, there's something going on. There's a whole lot of news out there. Oh, hold on. Well, I'm getting a couple updates here. Well, first of all, looks like my technical engineers are letting us know that there may be some technical difficulties on the show today. One slight little positive update will be the phone lines may be up now. So the phone lines, they may be up. You could try. So that's a good thing. But other than that, we got to talk about a lot of things. My bad for the fans. I skipped out on last week. A whole lot of things been happening. We're all trying to get together, through tax season and all the, things that come through, winter, fall, to some the tough seasons and, just rolling on through. So anyway, we may have Associate Representative Mr. Tattersall on the show today. That'll be nice. Oh, speaking of which, here he is right now. Why, hello there. Sensitive, Mr. Tattersall. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Just relaxing on a day off,
Nice. Well, what's on the agenda? How are things doing? Huh?
Like I said, doing pretty good.
So today on the show, it's been a while. We just want to talk about a whole bunch of updates, whatever we can remember, whatever information we've gathered. How do you feel about what's going on? What everything is going on right now?
Well, there's kind of a lot going on. I mean, I guess one of the big ones is the Muslim ban.
The what now? The whole Donnie.
One of the big ones would be the Muslim ban.
Yeah, well, it's not actually a Muslim ban. You know that, right?
Well, right. I know it's not like just he doesn't specifically say Muslims, but it's like, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's 7 countries. I mean, I think it's a good idea. It's not like it's not anti anything or anybody. It's not anti-Muslim and it's not anti-religion. But it is a 90-day temporary hold on 7 countries, I believe. And it's just they may be associated with associates that we don't want to deal. That you get what I'm saying. So it's just a 90-day little hold. It gets unhold. It's just a temporary pause. It gets unpaused after those 90 days.
Kind of like a strainer just weeding out the potential
it's just like a chill out zone, and it's kind of smart. It's like a chill because everybody's been all PO'd and M'd about it with Donnie Boy, and
like I just said,
it's nice.
It's just trying to weed out the possible terrorist threats from the from the good Muslims, etc. So it's just like, well, you have to wait like 90 days if you're a legitimate person trying to be a citizen. You have to wait a little longer, which might suck, but
that's right.
You have to put your country first, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely don't disagree with it.
Mm-hmm. So that's the big one right there, and you know, of course, the fake media, of course, is reporting. You said Muslim ban, they because you know that's what the fake media says, and you know they just spur lies and all that, and it's just no.
To make him look out to be a racist.
Yeah, exactly. It's divide and conquer. You know, whoever's funding this all, people think a lot of people think George Soros has a lot to do with it, and you know.
Yeah, division is definitely the main agenda of the mainstream media. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, they just want to, put race against each other and blah 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 and all that. The thing is
The sad part is,
solution. You just ignore. Hmm.
the sad part is that it's working in their favor because people are ignorant and they fall into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, so what's the next?
It's funny. It's always with the wall. It's like with the wall thing. You know, countries throughout history have been fucking building walls. Excuse my language. Have been building walls. Throughout all of history. You know, the Great Wall of China to keep out the fucking. And then fucking. Pretty much all main like countries and cities have some form of wall or border to keep out, unwanted illegals. So it's funny how now that we want to do that, everyone has a problem with it, but they don't realize that everyone else in the world's been doing it forever themselves. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is that you gotta know the facts and not report on the bippity bop. And it could be more of like more like a symbol, because a lot of people think, well, it's not like it's really not going to do much. They'll just dig under or whatever, but it's more of like all these people complaining, but he got into office, right, fair and square. So he got into the office. He said he said he was going to do what he was going to do, and then he's in office, and then he does what he said he was going to do, and people are mad. So it's like,
And it's also funny how people are so sad about Obama leaving office when he pretty much didn't do anything he said he was going to do. He said he was going to stop the war like his first term, and look at us now. We're still in it, just as bad as ever.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to fix our financial situation. I don't know exactly the number, but I know that it's gotten a lot worse also since he was in office. So it's just, again, people being ignorant, and they're just like, oh, we miss Obama, but it's like, understand that he actually messed everything up.
Yeah, well,
and
what?
It's kind of like the situation that Obama was in when he first went into office. It's like, all right, time to fix this mess, and that's kind of what Trump's mindset needs to be. It's
right,
like,
exactly. So we'll see how Donny Boy does, because Obama sold us on promises and failed. Well, we'll see how Donny Boy does.
People are just scared of change. I don't know.
Well,
if they
people are tired of Bull Sneezy, is what it is.
I don't know if his mindset is okay and we don't need to fix anything, or if they just know that things are wrong and that Donny Boy is just taking the wrong approach. I don't know what their mindset is. But, we're in a financial crisis, and, we have a businessman as president, so hopefully he can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I hope he does, and I've mentioned this many times on the show, and I'm sure, here's the big thing. I wish he did Executive Order 11110, But the thing is that if he does that, the economy will obviously crash. And so you got this coin where it's like, what are you supposed to do? You got the right thing to do, but it screws over your economy. Or you do some other kind of thing that's not really going to take back control to the country.
Right.
Well, in other news, unless you want to talk, unless you have something else to say.
No, what were you thinking about?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on everywhere, and like, there's always something going on. You know? I'm trying to like, there's like a whole lot of stuff going on.
Absolute truth right there.
Like, here's
always something going on somewhere.
One of the things I want to say is there's been new footage or new evidence in Hillary Clinton's cases. And if you type in on YouTube, like, you know, new evidence, Hillary Clinton, everybody needs to watch that video. And it's like, that video is like ridiculous. Like, it shows some crazy ass shit.
Just all about Hillary Clinton being a crook?
Yeah, well, just more evidence of it. And it's like, well, okay, well, here's this video. Why is nothing happening? Why is nothing going on? And, you know, just the more you delve into it, the more ridiculous it is, and the more you wonder, like, why is this not, what is going on? Why is nothing happening here? That's why we try to do shows so everybody knows, so everybody can, like, figure out, like, okay, if she's innocent, she's innocent, but if she's guilty, she's guilty.
Right, and that's important to find out.
And so, you know, that was one of, speaking of Donny Boy, that was one of Donny Boy's promises to, like, go through with that, but then he, like, weaseled out, but now it's like, I don't want to bag the guy for it.
I do remember him talking about exposing her, and you are correct about, I haven't really heard him saying anything about that ever since he's actually been in office. So, yeah, I do remember him talking about that in his debates, saying, you know, if I become president, we'll figure out all of these things that she's been doing, you know, Benghazi and etc.
Well, it gets a whole lot deeper than that, my friend. You know, they say this. They got the little secrets and they got the big secrets. They leave the little secrets to the kids and they have the big secrets for blackmail.
Right.
And that's apparently how the politician game works. And in the words of Dick Gregory, this is a game.
That's how it's been forever.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason why we're thankful for Donny Boy, because he's not a traditional politician. And,
yeah, exactly. That is the coolest thing. We live in the coolest freaking times ever because of that. This is the first time in U.S. history that a president is not a politician. Think about that.
Right. It's pretty amazing. It's great.
So, however things go from here, it's going to stay permanent. And hopefully, you know, we all have faith for Donny Boy, but it's like those Marine movies. A friend of mine was telling me, a very good friend was explaining me that, you know, like in those is the army movies where they say, you know, cover me. They need cover. You know, they're doing the hero work, they're doing what they're doing, but they need cover, and they say cover me, and then you know, you provide them cover. And I think that's what we need to give. That's obviously what we need to give Donny Boy. To me, you know, right. As long as he's you know, on the good path.
Right, and that's what's sad is half of our population disagree with you, and
that he's not on a good path, right? Well, I mean, we'll see. It's very interesting. You know, I don't disagree that he can be a little bit arrogant sometimes, and you know, I mean, he wasn't a politician. He had a past, you know, business life with his own things and all that, and it is what it is. But it is what it is that the American people voted for him. So, but aside from the federal government, I wanted to chime in on the medical industrial complex and bring up that point again. Because constantly they keep finding more fraudulency and more corruption within everywhere. We have to talk about all those aspects. But the medical industrial complex is horrible. We know about the Federal Reserve. We're familiar with all the Wall Street pathetic money junkies that do what they can. Do the fluff or nut or whatever you want to call it. But the military or the medical industrial complex with like the CDC, dude, the CDC, they have a .gov in their website, but they have nothing to do with the government. They're not even the government, but they have a .gov
right
end address, and they keep finding more corruption, more fraudulent papers, and all their bull sneezy, and whistleblowers come out and say this is ridiculous, and the CDC has patents of its own that generates billions of dollars every year. So they would want to keep their interests at stake to keep that money flowing. And it's, they provide that, and they make sure everybody, you would have to take, it's just ridiculous. It's like, this is just, and just recently it was just another $600 billion, lawsuit or whatever. And it's just on and on. There's more stuff going on.
Right, like you said, people do whatever they can do to get that extra dollar, even though too many.
There's too many questions at hand, and it's more useful to talk about solutions. But the reality needs to be understood.
Right, you need to realize the reality before you can come up with solutions. But it's also true that once you figure out the reality, you need to start thinking about solutions.
So, alternative energy, cold fusion, aquaponics, quantum generators, and so many different kinds of ways. I wonder how Andrea Rossi is with his free energy generator. He was working on a concept, and he proved it with his generators. And he's in Italy.
That's something the government's going to try to silence.
Cold fusion. Oh yeah, of course. There's plenty of people who have invented plenty of free energy machines and have all been silenced, including the water car and many other things.
Right. I mean, with the technology we have today and the scientists, oil could potentially be obsolete, which is obviously the end of the world for certain people.
Exactly. It's not the end of the world, but for those money junkies who already have billions of dollars, who need more billions of dollars. Yeah,
it's the end of the world for certain people.
That's exactly correct.
And they're, not really end of the world, but to them, it definitely is, in their opinions.
Yep.
Which is sad because, the oil companies just leads to war and, violence, and the fact that it could be obsolete, but it's still being used as the main resource is just kind of shows you the corruption of the society that we live in.
Yeah, and, now that we're a little bit more into the show, I really want to talk about the really big thing that's been really going on. And according to a few sources, there's been quite a few arrests for this, namely California, almost 500 people arrested, allegedly. And this topic is pretty gruesome. We've talked about it before, I'm sure. It has to do with Pizzagate. And, they tried to make it a psyop, and they called it something else, and there's a whole lot of kerfuffles about it, but it's too many people are proving too many points, saying this runs, whatever that term is, the shit river runs deep or whatever.
I kind of lost focus on the Pizzagate thing. Has there been any updates on that?
Well, apparently apparently there's a new update, and I wish I had it. I forgot the link, but it was like something like pizzagate .info or dot, something. I'd have to find it again. And but there's people that are like, saying that, okay, this is pretty ridiculous. One of those people who's a respected journalist and a famous documentary filmmaker, I think what was his name, Bill Stills or something like that. And anyway, this whole high, top profile child raping craziness they're trying to catch them, and it sounds like the good guys are winning, but trying to catch them, and all this is just it's pretty pretty heavy.
Yeah, pretty dark stuff.
So that's all I heard about it, that there was more info, that there was like a new there's updates, and there's a lot of people think that there's, people say the good guys are winning underground, and certain people in top places, like the alphabet famous government agencies. There's the good guys, half good guys, half bad guys. There's a struggle within, apparently. I just, you read what you read, and you try to research as much as you can. But people are saying that they're trying to bust them. They're trying to figure this out. It's almost there. Like I mentioned, the California arrests, and
I just looked up Pizzagate on YouTube, and there's an update just 4 days ago. A 20-minute video. It says arrest imminent in Pizzagate scandal.
Right, exactly. That's one of the things I heard, and that. So apparently that those major arrests happened in California last week, but I also heard about this update, so I don't know when that's coming up. If that posting was 4 days ago, then I don't know. Maybe that was the arrest. I don't know.
No, it just says imminent, not which means.
Well, that was 4 days ago, though. So it could have happened already, and the fake news obviously won't report on it, and it's hard for people to know what the hell's going on.
Know about this. Most people don't even know about this.
Well, exactly. That's why we have this show. That's why we all try to do what we can to express our concerns. It's pretty heavy stuff, and it's.
And that's just another proof of how what the mainstream media's agenda is. Like, why would they not report on something so important?
Yeah, if this was like obvious fakery, there's professionals looking into this and being like, there's more than looks the eye here. And the fact that it's not being reported, it is being reported by independent media, but not the fake corporate news that is fake jelly juju beans.
Right, I don't even know what the mainstream media reports on because I don't even bother watching.
Sports stars, and who is this? Rihanna or somebody else, who the newest star is, and what she had for breakfast. That's what they report on. That's what people tell me. I don't have cable myself because that's ridiculous.
Besides that, they're telling you how Trump is a racist. Either what Rihanna had for breakfast or why Trump's a racist today. That's about all he did.
Well, yeah. So I'm trying to remember what else I've been that's been going on. It's there's been the Middle East, Europe and the Middle East and all that. What can I say? They're trying to figure their shit out. Europe, a lot of people are saying Europe is going to shit. And
I've heard about that too.
And apparently, like, Israel's being a bad boy, but I'm not sure what that's all about. Apparently, like, recently there's, like, they're trying to cause a false flag with Egypt or something, or Pakistan, and I'm not sure what's going on over there. And BB's apparently being a naughty boy. I'm not sure. It's the news is news, and it's all it can all be spuffed up.
And it's not even really worth mentioning, but that woman's march, like, what a joke that was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. That's it. It is what it is, and a lot of them. Oh, that reminds me. I mean, speaking of that, is because people like George Soros fund all these groups, but that reminds me to mention this group that was mentioned to me that I didn't hear about. It's called Antifas. Have you heard about it, Mr. Tattersall?
No, I have not.
Really?
Antifas? What is
So,
that?
let me explain to you what was explained to me earlier today. Apparently, Antifas is stands for like anti-fascist, and it's a group that is apparently in Europe, and now it's over here apparently. And they punch people and do violent things, and it's kind of ridiculous, and I don't get how it's not illegal, but it's there, and that's been causing a little ruckus.
Like, where have what states has this been seen in?
I'm not sure. I would assume California and New York, but yeah, there's like kind of a big thing, and again, a lot of people are pointing George Soros to funding these people because these people have maybe not like guns, but weapons, maybe like baseball bats and knuckles or whatever they're called, but they're getting transported.
And if they're just starting out and they're using baseball bats, you never know what that could evolve into.
No, I know, but I'm saying that they're being provided all these rides and buses and transportation, and they have to be funded by somebody. No, I mean, what is all that? And there's apparently a large group and causing a lot of violence, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, if you type in Antifas on the internet, what happens? Maybe it's called Antifa, but I thought it was the Antifas. And it's like this organization or something. Here, New York City Antifa, culture of resistance against fascism. Here it is. It's right here. Yeah, so it looks like what is that? A gun? I mean, it's like it shows like some kind of like a New Year's update on anti-fascist prisoners. So it looks like they haven't updated in a while. But it looks like definitely like modern, new, updated site. New York City Antifa. So like I guessed, it's in New York City. Oh, you could email them. I'm gonna see what's up with all that. Man, that's crazy. What do you think we should send them? Like, what are you doing? What is all this?
Be like it's spy and like you want to participate.
Yeah, because I mean, I just heard that they
said you're not against them, that you're with them.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really show any violence on the website. It says Trump and Wall and Pussy and Rich.
That's an interesting thing for an organization to say.
I mean, no, it's a picture with, I don't know what I'm looking at, I think it's, but anyway, they wear, like, Nazi, like, clothing or something, or they have this thing, I don't know what they're doing, this is ridiculous. We should get a member on the show, so he could explain, like, what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. Send them an email, like,
Yeah, it's a great idea, Mr. Tattersall.
Tell them
Should get the.
participate.
We need to get the technical engineers on that ASAP.
How do you spell FOSS?
Well, I just typed in anti-FOSS or anti-FA, and like one of the first things that came up was like this website, which proves to me that it's probably some propaganda or some ridiculous buffoon-like, huh?
I must be spelling it wrong because I'm getting some like anti-bomb cologne thing.
Anti-FA, yeah, I mean, I just exited it. But if you just, yeah, it's pretty easy to see.
I mean, even though this is completely irrelevant, I don't know what I just found. Something about cloning.
About what? Cloning?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. You should send that over to me. You know my email?
Well, like I said, I was just trying to look up what you told me to, but I'm obviously spelling it wrong. I'm spelling it F-A-S, like anti-space F-A-S. Antibody human activating clone CH11.
Speaking of that, I don't know if I mentioned it in previous shows, but there's this is crazy, Mr. Tattersall. You are not going to believe what I'm about to say if I haven't already told you or if you haven't already figured it out. Apparently there's a store, or like I don't know what you would want to call it, a business in California that sells blood that you can go buy, and it's very expensive or something along those lines. And it's like, you know, people are talking about vampirism and stuff, and it's pretty crazy. And you know, they associate with the elite and stuff, and it's pretty crazy stuff. And it's a legal company in Cali apparently that you can go and buy blood. So you can, you know, that's a whole other department of crazy.
I have heard a little bit about that, and it's like,
yeah,
they prefer like children's blood because they.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this whole thing is all about. That's why a lot of people think a lot of the wars that we go to,
So, obviously,
is
the biggest
that.
question with that is how do they obtain the blood?
What's that?
So I think the biggest question with that would be how do they obtain the blood?
Through the refugee children and others.
Wow.
Do you have any other suggestions who we should contact for like interviews?
This headline says anti-fascists have become the most reasonable people in America.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then it shows a picture of them like burning some shit, and they're calling that reasonable.
Exactly. I mean, it could be like a sarcasm journalism or joke or something, but exactly, that's what's going on right now. That's another thing I wanted to mention. Thank you for bringing that up. Is the Berkeley riots and all this other crazy stuff. There's always like all these little things happening, and you know it's hard to keep track of them all. But there's this whole thing that happened in Berkeley. There's the Berkeley riots.
Yeah.
There's damages and this and that, and nobody was arrested. All these people broke glass and all this.
This was supposed to have put it down.
What's that?
You know that. You know Milo. I don't know exactly how to say his last name.
Oh yeah, that's right, exactly. The gay conservative, Milo Kalikanopoulos or something.
He was supposed to talk in
right.
Berkeley, and they shut him down with their usual.
Yes, exactly. That's hilarious. That is so crazy. And I still don't understand why. Why would they do that? Because he's a gay conservative?
I have to think myself, like, it's hilarious how they're the ones.
Liberals attacking, people that they
Wow.
support Yeah, exactly. It's
And if your cause is so just, why does everybody wear masks in the protests?
well because they're scared for their lives and they don't know what to do. They listen to the media and it's they're trying to reflect on each other. Even though I don't think anybody does listen to the media because apparently their ratings are abysmal.
Right, supposedly, internet news sources are more popular now.
What is?
I said internet news sources, which is obviously better than mainstream media.
Yeah, that makes sense. But whatever those internet sources are, whether it's independent media or fake news or something else, if they're listening to but if they're most of those, who do you think like most millennials? They're like the majority of the who are they listening to? They're probably listening to BuzzFeed or whatever the new edgy news that's associated with
Like,
Facebook or something.
Like a comedy thing.
Huh?
Even though BuzzFeed is that considered a news source? I thought it was like a comedy page.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. Exactly. I don't know.
Personally, I like Mark Dice.
Mark Dice?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people love Mark Dice. Yeah, he seems like a really great guy. He's figuring things out, and it's really sad to see some of the videos.
Yeah, he has a video that he uploaded 13 hours ago that already has 65,000 views. So, that's good that he's popular.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that no, yeah, there's a lot of good guys out there, like apparently what Stephen Molyneux and or whatever, and then what his name? Wait, who you mentioned?
It's crazy how the media tries to incorporate Illuminati into their advertisements and stuff. I wonder why they do that.
What do you mean? That's very interesting that you say that.
Well, it's like it's a Mark Dice video where he shows a commercial for the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowls always have original commercials.
Oh right, I did hear about that.
Just for the.
They're saying there's horns or dead beheadings or something. What did they see?
Well, it's just an avocado commercial, but it's like a play off of the Illuminati, and it's like a joke Illuminati, but it's at the same time what it would really be like. So it's like they're making fun of society. Yeah, this is what we do right in front of your face.
Very interesting. I'll have to look at that.
And just the fact that there's symbolisms and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's a thing of power. It's like another thing that I saw a while ago in a Mark Dice video is he was in Washington D.C. and he was talking about how the Washington Monument is a strange structure. It's not a pyramid, but it's along with a triangle shape at the top. Why would they use that as a monument for Washington? It's just because that's an Egyptian style architecture, is a triangle, a pyramid.
Right.
So why would we use that for an American structure?
Yeah, there's so much information that would fill, decades of, amount of work to explain all of those things. The topography of Washington D.C. and how it's all according to plan, and it's like the star shape, and it's all deep underground and all kinds of stuff.
And like I said, why would they do that? It's a thing of power.
Well, I'm pretty sure all our founding fathers were Freemasons. You know that, right?
Right. That makes complete sense.
So that's it. So it is what it is. So it's no secret, because it's no secret that our founding fathers are Freemasons. But I mean the whole secrecy thing. I mean it can be a little bit more deeper than that. I mean Freemasonry might be nothing, and there's more beyond that. I mean secrecy is secrecy. Freemasonry is not secrecy because it's Freemasonry. We know about it. It's not a secret anymore.
This looks like a funny video to watch. ABC News edits out refugee saying he likes Trump.
Nice. Yeah, well, speaking of the refugee situation in Europe, it's terrible. And one of the facts that I read, in Germany, 50% of the jails in Germany now are from immigrants and refugees.
Wow.
That's what I read. So if that's the case,
that's obviously a problem.
Even if it's in one city, like Munich, even if it's in one city like Munich, if that's the case, if half the prison is already full with refugees and immigrants or whatever, I mean, how is that, Right, how do you not look at that and be like, okay, well, there's obviously something wrong. This is obviously we're doing something wrong. And that's what Angela Merkel is going to have to figure out. With whatever happens.
I didn't hear about that, about the jails being filled with immigrants. That's it's pretty crazy. It's well,
because they do all these illegal activities and they think it's okay, because it's okay for them to do something ridiculous, highly illegal or whatever, and then they go do it in your country, and then that's, they think it's okay. And a lot of them get away with it, but a lot of them end up in jail. This recent thing, that also reminds me of another thing that just happened. I think it was with American Airlines in America. This woman, and I don't blame her, this woman, she was like, paying for, I don't know if she was paying for first class or whatever. She was paying for, an airline ticket to go to the airplane to travel somewhere. And when she's looking forward to this flight and she's going to take her seat, while the stewardess tells her, I'm sorry, you can't have your seat anymore because there's two Pakistani men that don't, it's against their, religion. They don't associate themselves with a woman, or they can't sit with them. And I'm thinking, like, that is ludicrous. How can that?
Why should she have to?
She worked her ass off for that plane ticket.
Right. Why should she have to change her?
She's an American woman taking an American airplane. She worked her ass off to take this American ticket to go do something, to go travel to her family or friend or whatever. And these immigrants who are the refugees, whatever they are, I've never even heard of. They were saying Pakistani monks. And she was removed from her seat that she had, or she specifically chose. Yeah. And she was enraged about it, and I don't blame her.
Yep.
Why did the rules in religious and ethics and all that in Pakistan? If I go travel in Pakistan, I will respect those rules and I will oblige. But in America, we have American rules, and we're not trying to turn America into Pakistan.
Right. Why does she have to conform rather than them? Why was she the one chosen?
Exactly. So I'm very disappointed in American Airlines, or what I'm pretty sure, I'm like 80% sure it's American Airlines, and I'm very disappointed in their decision to behave like that.
I mean, yeah, there's not really much else to say about that. I mean,
right? Pretty straightforward.
The most they should have done was say, oh, I'm sorry, sir, but, this is an American airline. We cannot do that. I mean, that's already over the line. I mean, if anything, they should have been insulted by that request. But the fact that they followed through with it is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and other than that, as I mentioned earlier with the military complex, our overspending and our there's nothing to be created. We spend billions of dollars on our military and we have nothing to show for it. Or F-35s that cost $1 billion to make each are failing, and there's nothing working with them, and the electronics melt and all this bull sneezy. And we're supposed to be proud of our military. And it's always funny when people say we spend the most money on our military. That doesn't mean jack shit.
It should, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Because we have nothing to show for ourselves. For the amount of money that we spend on our military, we should be having hover jets and like that cartoon, The Jetsons. Should have a jet that I could fly around. So
that probably wouldn't require oil, so...
yeah. But here's another thing that I wanted to mention, that the biggest thing that's going on, another big thing, in my opinion, that should be mentioned is the whole Fukushima reactor debacle. That's pretty ridiculous, and that's the fact that everybody's ignoring it is a huge devastation, huge problem, huge, like, I can't believe that nobody talks about it. And people do, but, independent media does, but not what we want. Not what would be ideal is what I meant to say. And so, it's really bad. It's like apparently this is what I read, is that it's apparently Chernobyl like reactor levels dangerous. I mean, it's world-ending catastrophic event ending status, and everybody's ignoring it and acting like nobody can do anything about it, and it is really crazy and really messed up. And poor Japan, I don't know what they're doing and how the hell they're gonna get out of this. We need alien intervention.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be honest, I haven't heard about that myself.
Well, you've heard about the Fukushima reactor blowing up in 2011, remember?
Oh, actually, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, well, it's still leaking dangerous amount of levels of radiation. Extremely dangerous.
Where exactly?
In Japan.
Wow. So why is nobody over there paying attention to that?
Because there's no money to be made off it. Politicians don't give a shit. It doesn't make any money. Politicians, all they care about is endorsing shit that makes them money.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense then.
And, like, this is, like, really shitty. Like, there's, like, a giant hole, apparently. I read that there's a giant hole at the bottom of this reactor where it blew up. And it's just spurting out, like, really high levels of radiation. And it's, like, and the fact that nobody's doing anything about it, apparently. There's nothing, like, the Japanese people are screwed. We need a Japanese person on this interview ASAP. We need to start talking to people that are, like, like, what is going on here? We need to be interconnected.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but, sitting over here in America, if they're not willing to fix their own problem, there's not really much we can do for them.
Well, and who knows if they're blackmailed, and who the high top people are, and what the Yakuza side there is on, and what's going on, and
why do we care about the Yakuza? That's
because they say that the Yakuza has, like, high levels of government in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's, like the saying goes, the Shit Creek River runs deep, or whatever, it's a dangerous world out there. People gotta understand that you gotta be smart, you gotta be strong, vigilant, independent, understandable, and, that's how peeps go. So, yeah, well, I think we covered a lot.
And, like I said, I'm always coming on this show very unprepared, so just try to do my best with the knowledge that I have, and, there's so many things out there to learn, everybody knows something that somebody doesn't, so it's that's why these shows are good.
Exactly. Hell yeah. Well, with that, Mr. Tattersall, I think you'll have a fine evening. What's the plan? What's the agenda later tonight? You got work tomorrow or what?
Yeah, 9 o'clock at night, though.
Oh, you trying to chill?
Yeah.
Damn. All right, well, we'll keep in touch about that later. Maybe we can do some research and study about the events that will are happening in the political world. But all right, well, thank you very much, Correspondent Mr. Tattersall. You have a great evening and a pleasant tomorrow.
Videos.
What's that?
So I think I might go watch some Mark Dice videos, have a little laugh at the liberals.
Nice. All right, well, have a great evening.
All right, you too, Mr.
Thanks for the call. Take it easy.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Well, that was very informative and very nice. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the show and watching the show. I believe that's pretty much it on my agenda. Don't really have anything else. You know, the last few tidbits are kind of old news that I been meaning to say for a while, and I don't think I have the information on hand, but pretty much something about Bill Gates spending a lot of money on something evil and, you know, all that jazz, and people need to be understanding and looking into all this. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. You know, gztruthnews. I thank the GTN network for having me on. Thank my audio engineers, Randy, Ralph, Bob, John. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, my audio engineers, my technical engineers, as I said, and my correspondents, Mr. Tattersall. That was very lovely, and you know, hopefully, Totally Tim will show up next show, where, you know, we'll have other associates and correspondents on the show. Plenty of shows later, you know, hopefully next week. Tune in, 6 p.m. Friday, Pacific Western Time, and yeah. Thank you, everybody. Geezy Truth News is out. Tune in next time, everybody. And have a great weekend.